Hi there, welcome back to the channel. My name is Fred Macedo, and we are here with another gospel at home. I'm here with my friends Ruben, Rosalie, and Rosangela. And before we start, I'm gonna ask my dear friend Rosangela to make our initial prayer. Please, Rosangela.
Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. Amen.
Thank you, Rosangela. Here we are at the Book of Spirits, question 558. Occupations and missions of spirits. Do, do spirits have any other duty besides their own personal improvement? They concur in the harmony of the universe and act as ministers in fulfilling God's will. Spirit life is a continuous occupation, but is not as all arduous like that of earth, because it's not subject to bodily fatigue or the anguish of need. 559. Do less evolved spirits also perform a useful role in the universe? All have duties to fulfill. Doesn't the list of masons concur in the construction of a building as much as the architect does? 560. Does each spirit have special attributes? It's worth stating that we all must inhabit all places and must acquire knowledge of all things, successively presiding over functions involving all the planes of the universe. However, as Ecclesiastes states, there is a time for everything. Thus, one spirit is currently fulfilling its destiny on this world, while another will accomplish, or has already accomplished, its destiny at another time on the earth, in the water, in the air, etc. 561. Are the functions that spirits perform in the order of things permanent for each spirit? And do such functions belong exclusively to the attributes of certain orders? Answer. All spirits must ascend the various degrees of the scale in order to perfect themselves. Since God is just, God could not have given knowledge without effort to some, while others acquire it only in a painful manner. Kardec's note. Likewise, among humans, no one reaches the supreme degree of skill in any art without having acquired the necessary knowledge by practicing the most elementary functions of that art. 562. Since spirits of the most advanced order have nothing more to acquire, are they in a state of absolute repose, or do they still have occupations? Answer. What do you think they are doing for all eternity? Eternal idleness would be eternal torture. We, we are always going to work. Receiving orders directly from God, transmitting them throughout the universe, and supervising their execution. 563. 63. Are the occupations of spirits unceasing? Unceasing? Yes, if we understand that their thought is always active, for they live by thought. Yet one must not equate their occupations with the material occupations of humans. They, their very activity is a delight because they know they are being useful. That is understandable for good spirits. But does the same apply to less evolved ones? Less evolved spirits have occupations suitable for their nature. Would you entrust the works of cultured individuals to manual laborers? 564. Are there, are there among spirits those who are idle or who do not occupy themselves with anything useful? Yes, but it's temporary and depends on the development of their intelligence. Certainly, as among humans, they are there are those who live only for themselves. Such idleness, nothing less, waits on them, and sooner or later the desire to progress stirs the need for activity, and they are glad to make themselves useful once again. We are speaking of spirits who have arrived at the necessary point of self consciousness and free will, for at their origin they are like newborn children who act more from instinct than from a determined will. 565. Do spirits examine our works of art and take an interest in them? They examine everything that may indicate the elevation of spirits and their progress. 566. Does a spirit who had a specialty on earth, a painter or architect, for example, take a special interest in the works that were the object of its predilection during life? Everything blends into our overall objective. If the spirit is good, it will take an interest in them to the degree that they enable it to help with the evolution of souls toward God. Besides, you are forgetting that spirits who have practiced an art during the lifetime in which you knew them could have practiced another in a previous lifetime, because it's necessary for them to know everything in order to perfect themselves. Thus, according to their degree of advancement, it might be that nothing constitutes a specialty for them. This is what I meant when I stated that everything blends into an overall objective, that is being perfect. Also, be aware of this. What is sublime to you in your backward world is not more than a child's play when compared with what exists on more advanced worlds. Why would you suppose that spirits who inhabited those worlds were there are arts unknown to you? Would you admire what would appear to them as no more than the work of a school child? As I have already stated, they examine whatever may indicate progress. Kardec's note. We understand why such must be the case with highly advanced spirits, but we are speaking about more commonplace spirits who have not yet raised themselves above earthly ideas. Their case is different. Their point of view is more limited, and they may admire what yourselves admire. 567. Do spirits sometimes meddle in our occupations and pleasure? Commonplace spirits, as you call them, yes, they are unceasingly around you and at times take a very active part in all that you do, according to their nature. It's good that they do so in order to drive men and women forward in their different walks of life, exciting or moderating their passions. Kardec's note: spirits occupy themselves with the things of this world according to whether they are more evolved or less so. High order spirits undoubtedly have the ability to consider them in the minutest detail, but they only do so to the degree that is useful to progress. Low order spirits only attach an importance to such things in proportion to the remembrance that. Okay, just a minute. To the proportion to the remembrance that is still present in their memory, and so material ideas that are not yet extinct. So, what can we say about these things? Just a moment, let me get back to the meeting. Like life on Earth, we have occupations, a lot more occupations when we are disincarnated, when our physical body dies and we go to the spiritual planet. We have more activities because we don't have a body that goes tired, that that is fatigued by work. So we can do a lot more of work. And we don't have to feed this body. We don't have to um, take care of it. We don't have to sleep as much as we sleep here on Earth. Um, that is the most is the greatest difference of being incarnated and being disincarnated. We will always work here or in the afterworld, but here we are in matter. We have a physical body, and this physical body has limitations that we don't have when we are in the spiritual plane as disincarnated spirits. And um, we know people that doesn't like to work here on Earth, and there is the same thing in the afterlife. Afterlife, there are people that doesn't like to work, but um, when the spirit doesn't do something useful, they become bored. As here on Earth, if we retire, for example, and doesn't do nothing with our time, we will be bored because we are built. God has built us to work, to be useful, and then we can have everything in life here. We can have a beautiful home, money to go travel, everything. But if we don't have an occupation, we will be bored. This is like in the spiritual plane. But in the spiritual plane, we doesn't have to work for money. We don't have to feed our body, to have a home, and all the things that we have to worry while we are on earth. This is what I I wanted to say about uh, these questions that we have read, and I'm gonna ask Rosangela for our final prayer. Thank you all.
We thank the good spirits who have come to communicate with us and ask them to help us put into practice the instruction they have given us. We also hope they will ensure that it unfolds as at the end of the session is fortified in the practice of good and love for our neighbor. We also wish these lessons may be useful for the suffering, ignorance, or visions spirits who were able to attend this meeting and for whom we implore the mercy of God.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
Good evening.